Hi, welcome back to my channel. I said in one of my first videos that I didn't have a whole lot to offer, which is true, but it's not. Um, I'm not very talented, but I can do a few things. One of them is I enjoy cooking. I used to work as a head chef for a while. One of the jobs that I had was a head chef of a Chinese restaurant. To get that job, I had to prepare a dish, and they did a taste test against their current head chef, and it was a blind taste test. So they didn't know whose food they were choosing. Plate A, which was a red plate, and plate B, which is a blue plate. Mine happened to be on the blue plate. Well, they chose the food, and when I came back from the interview, they told me, "I'm sorry, but you just didn't make it." And I said, "Well, thank you for the consideration. It was an honor. I was having, native Chinese people eat Chinese food that I created." And before I walked away, I got to talking with the head chef there, and we got to be pretty good friends. And before I turned to walk away, he stopped me and he asked the panel, "What plate did you choose?" And the panel said, "We chose yours. We chose the blue plate." And he had to tell them that his plate was the red. So it was a major ego boost for them to choose my food over a native Chinese cook. I'm not trying to sound racist or anything like that, but for me, it was a major ego boost for my food to be better than somebody who was, from that country, from that culture. But anyways, this is a recipe that my uncle had shared to me, or had shared probably about a year ago. And I took it and I tried it how he had posted it, and I found some things to change on it that felt better for me. That's the problem with my cooking is I never keep the same thing twice. You could have the same meal, but it will always taste different because I find something that I can change, something I can tweak, add a little bit more of this, add a little less of that. So it's never really the same. What I'm showing you is what I've changed so far. And I'll tell you what the original recipe called for, but hopefully y'all enjoy. Okay, you want to start off with anywhere between 4 to 6 Yukon Gold potatoes. Here you're going to have 2 cans of mixed veggies, 1 can of sweet corn, a can of green beans, a can of condensed tomato soup, and diced tomatoes. Also have 2 pounds of ground hamburger. I buy in bulk and I divvy it up and I put it in 1 pound packages. You want to fry up your meat, add a little salt and pepper to it, a little onion powder, a little garlic powder, whatever you find appealing. With the diced tomatoes, the original recipe calls for just plain diced tomatoes, and they're fine, but I found it a little bland in flavor, so I got the diced tomatoes with the green chilies. I think next time for me, I'm going to add in a bit of maybe fresh jalapeno, dice that up, and put that in with the soup mix itself. Just something to add a little more flavor. Once you're done browning up your meat, drain it well, add it to your slow cooker. Then you're gonna take your potatoes, wash them, and peel them. Pretty self-explanatory. Dice them up. I know some people have big mouths, and I'm not talking about you can't keep a secret. I'm talking you can put a lot in your mouth. These are you want to look more child-sized bites, just in case you do feed it to your kids. It's a good family recipe. It's a nice hearty soup. It's something that's gonna keep you warm. Now here's a secret ingredient. Because of the tomatoes that are in the recipe, the tomato soup and the diced tomatoes, it can get really acidic. Something that will cut down on the acid of tomatoes is sugar. I know that sounds really strange, putting sugar into a soup, but trust me, once everything's cooked out, you don't really taste the sweet. And if you have heartburn like I do, because I was stupid as a kid, the sugar really cuts down the acid. For me, I put a dollop of minced garlic in. Now, a dollop, yeah, it's an arbitrary measurement. For most seasonings, I say measure with your heart. Set your temp to a long cook, 8 hours, low temperature. This is gonna be one of those things where you set it and you forget it. Mix it all up. Make certain that the garlic that you put in there is down inside the liquid. The cans of veggies that you have, you don't want them to drain. This is gonna be your liquid for the soup itself. You're not adding any water or anything like that. What's in those cans is what's gonna make. And you can see the result here after 8 hours of cooking. It's very good, very hearty. The potatoes, Yukon Gold, are great for stews. They are light and fluffy like russet potatoes. So, I mean, you can make mash out of them. You can do baked potatoes, but they hold their shape better. Russet potatoes will tend to mash up real easy, and they don't keep that nice, firm look. After 8 hours, serve yourself up a bowl, and there you go. All right, well, there you have it. It's again, it's called it's a hearty Cowboy soup. The only reason why it's soup is because the broth is still liquid. It's not thick, so it's not stew, and it's not thick enough to be considered a stoup, which is just a thicker soup or a thinner stew. But one thing I would suggest though is when you serve it up, serve it with rustic or artesian dinner rolls. There's something about it, it complements it better. It gives more of that authentic rustic feel. Bon appetit.